Mark Smelly here. There seems to be a lot of confusion on why I'm talking about sugar fasting and the sugar diet. People keep saying, blink twice if you're in trouble. Well, I just did. I'm being held ransom by Big Sugar and Big Pharma to pump out these videos, getting paid handsomely, I might add, to talk about the efficacy and how awesome sugar is. On a more serious note, I think if you just put some logic behind this, I mean, look, everyone understands the idea of caloric toxicity. People consume too many calories and they become fatter, right? We also understand that if you're in a caloric deficit, that's the way to lose weight. One of my problems with that is that a lot of times is almost the only strategy that a lot of people rely on. I think there's other ways to ensure that you are in a caloric deficit in a given day. I think there's a lot of levers to pull that could really be helpful with that. And one of those levers is protein. That's why I've talked for years now about protein leveraging. You also may have heard me talk about keto. Keto is another great lever, especially when you do real keto, where it's like 4-to-1 fat to protein ratio. No one ever really does that. People just usually do low carb. But that's a nice lever that you can pull that can help with keeping you satiated. An interesting thing about keto, very similar to the sugar diet, is that it does knock out 2 macronutrients rather than what people are normally trying to do and just knock out one. They're either like lowering their fat and raising their carbs, or they are increasing their fat and lowering their carbs. The sugar diet and keto both wipe out protein. Lower amounts of protein, not super low amounts of protein, but lower than what a standard, bodybuilder or athlete might typically be told that they need, or even average person is getting told that they need 1 gram per pound. And that can be great because you can use that for protein leveraging, because you can use that as a filler, just like you would use vegetables as a filler, fiber, good density, right? And we know that like egg whites go really far, chicken breasts go really far, scallops, shrimp, anything that's super lean, you can eat a large portion of it, and so it can help with satisfaction, it can help with feeling full, it can help with all these things, right? A keto diet can give you, a bolus of fat, and that bolus of fat can help make you feel full and so forth. One of the issues that you kind of run into sometimes, though, with some of these diets is that keto, carnivore, I don't think they do a good job of helping to regulate your metabolism and help rev your metabolism up. I think the only way that you really do that is by like increasing muscle mass. I mean, there could be some things I'm going to be missing here, but increasing your muscle mass would be one way to do it, where you're increasing your metabolic rate over time. And another great way of doing it would be to eat some carbs, carbohydrates. And that is what I'm after with the sugar diet. I believe, and from what I'm seeing so far, people are able to eat large amounts. Your metabolism, your resting metabolic rate is a moving target. That's why I never liked calculating it. That's why I've never liked counting. I always thought it was bullshit. I still don't love it. It's not my favorite strategy. I'm not saying that it doesn't work at all. I'm just saying that I'm not a fan of it. And I'm not saying it can't be effective, because I know that it can be. I've seen it happen with people. But people are so caught up in the calories, and they're so caught up in the macros. It's all they can think about. And when you have a diet that is different, where the carbohydrates are through the roof, the fat is sunk down somewhere into the basement, and the protein is sank down in the basement. And even sometimes when you're doing a sugar fast, you're completely getting rid of both. 0 fat, 0 protein, and 0 starch for the day. And when you do that, you will be shocked at the amount of weight that you start to lose. Now, there could be varying results. There could be some people that it might take them a handful of weeks to get the hang of the diet before they start to lose some weight. There can be people that it's going to take them a while to recalibrate. But when you're ingesting sugar you're going to be increasing your metabolic rate. And when you're following the sugar fasting, the way that I'm promoting, the way that Cole Robinson is promoting, you're going to be increasing a lot of hormones and a cascade of a bunch of other things going on in your body, FGF21 being one of them. There's going to be a cascade of things going on in your body that's going to help increase your metabolic rate via the choices that you're making with your food. That's how it works. And that's why it works. And you can smash a lot of fruit and a lot of fruit juice. And then people get all pissed off and they talk about healthy sugar and unhealthy sugar. There is no such thing. Sugar is sugar, and sugar comes from a plant. Sugar comes from a plant. Maybe I can't think of it coming from anything else, but I guess like a bee, maybe. I don't know. But then you need like, I don't know. I don't even know anything about honey. But anyway, you kind of see my point. Like, it comes from a plant and it's natural. And I know that we, adulterate it and everyone loses their mind, and then it's put in a candy, and candy has citric acid, and that could be bad for your teeth. But brush your motherfucking teeth. Not hard to do. This diet is a great option to peel weight off of you, to peel off body fat. People keep accusing me of like not caring about losing muscle. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm a meathead 100%. I don't want to lose muscle mass. But the reality is that when you lose weight, you lose muscle mass, regardless of the diet. There's bodybuilders going into a competition lose muscle mass. You know what's going to rip muscle mass off of you faster than anything else is going to be being in a caloric deficit, not just lowering your protein, or even in some cases not eating any protein. Remember, I'm not perpetually saying don't eat any protein always and forever. This is a strategy to pull body weight off you. And we're trying to pull as much fat as we can. That's why I'm not saying body fat, because I don't want to lie to you, because it's not just body fat, it's body weight. When you're losing weight and you weigh 300 pounds and you go down to 250 pounds, you're always going to lose some muscle. It is, I don't want to say impossible, and I don't want to say no one's ever done it before, because I don't think it's great to talk in absolutes like that. But when you lose weight, you're going to lose muscle mass. I used to be 330 pounds. I was 290 and had some abs and like looked crazy. My traps were nuts. My neck was nuts. My neck is not nearly as big as it was. My traps aren't as big as they were. My biceps aren't as big as they used to be. Like things, the muscles, they start to shrink. But then people are like, holy shit, you're jacked, especially when they see me in person. Like, holy shit, I didn't realize you were that big. And I'm not even necessarily big. I'm 211 pounds this morning. I guess that's good size, but what people are noticing is how lean I am. I'm getting leaner every single week, almost daily, almost like bodybuilding prep. And what I am setting out to do is I'm setting out to dive down and dip down really deep in terms of body fat levels. Some people, they got questions about the fat. They're like, you're not getting any fat. What about A, D, E, and K? What about the body fat that you have on you? What about your love handles? What about your gut? That's where you're getting your vitamins from, because now that's what we're trying to burn. That's what we're after. So hopefully this clears this up. It's amazing. It's even people in the industry that like I have no idea what he's talking about. What the fuck, dude? How do you have no idea what I'm talking about? If I could turn around do a 180 from what I was doing previously, carnivore, keto, and all the other things, then how the fuck do you not understand what I'm talking about? This is a maturation that's been going on in the background for years. Again, I wrote The War on Carbs, 10 years ago. And The War on Carbs, it talks about eating fruit. It talks about introducing some carbohydrate. And the keto diet is still effective, and a carnivore diet still can be effective. And a low-carb diet can still be effective. And I needed those at that time to break me. I needed to be broken. I needed to be broken from my bond to the types of foods I was eating. And it was never actually a war on carbs. What it was a war on things that had fat and carbohydrates in them. It was a war on things that have fat and carbohydrates in them. I've always known about cereal. I've always known about these things that you could eat post-workout. I've been around the bodybuilding space forever. I did a bodybuilding show myself. You saw how fucking lean I got for that show. But Hani Rambod, being a genius, he's like, dude, you're low carb, so I don't really know what that looks like. Like, we're not going to give you a lot of carbs. So I could eat like 200 carbs a day. But I was kind of like low to moderate carbohydrates, I would say, high in protein and low in fat. And that diet, it worked. It got me to where I needed to be on the stage. But those diets, you see people fluctuate in body weight all the time from diets like that because they fucking suck. They work, they're effective, they work, but they suck. And I also had to do like 90 minutes of cardio every single day. 90 minutes of cardio, training, posing, like doing the whole thing, doing all this stuff to get myself on stage. And I'm not saying that I found a better method, but what I'm saying is I found a great option for all of you. This is not just for people that are bodybuilders. This is people are making the mistake of thinking this is like some sort of hyperactive diet. You don't have to be hyperactive. You don't have to be active at all. It'd be great if you were active, but this diet can get you active because it's going to make you want to be active because you have so much fucking energy because you're eating sugar. What is the sugar diet? I'm going to sum it up again and I'm going to get the fuck out of here. The sugar diet, aka sugar fasting, is a diet comprised of eating simple sugars. Those simple sugars can come from the following sources: fruit juice, honey, maple syrup, table sugar, candy. That is the sugar diet. That is sugar fasting. If you wanted to, you can have some vegetables in there, but it's not advised to like eat a lot of vegetables because they just carry a lot of water and they could be helpful with filling you up. So you can have a salad at night or something like that. That's the way I've been kind of handling my sugar fasting days. If you wanted to loosen up the reins a little bit, you can, and you wanted just to slow down, your weight loss process, you could turn your sugar fasting into a little bit of a flexible sugar diet where you can sugar fast throughout the whole day. You can utilize that as a form of intermittent fasting, except for it's with fruit juice and the other things I mentioned. You can do that, and then you can have a lean source of meat. If it's not as lean as chicken breast, don't buy it. Unless you're only eating meat like a couple times a week, then you can afford to get something a little fattier. You can get like the 93.7 lean ground beef and stuff like that. Otherwise, stick with 99% lean ground turkey, chicken breast, shrimp, scallops, and egg whites. I have not lost my mind. I am a pioneer in this space. I'm a force multiplier. And I'm the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And I will continue to be out in front of the fitness industry every single time. I'm more jacked, I'm more tan, I'm more wealthy than every single influencer or person that you follow. And I've lifted more fucking weight on a platform where it matters. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Fuck all y'all. Catch you guys later.